Hello everyone, Jules here. Today I'd like to show quite an interesting tarot deck, which is also quite a topical one. That is the Hexen 2 Tarot by Suzanne Treister. This is the second edition. The first edition was published in 2012, and this is the second edition from 2024 last year. The first edition was published by Black Dog, and I almost got that edition back in 2012, but I wasn't sure about it, the deck at the time. So I'm glad I didn't, because I have read since then that the Black Dog edition, the cardstock was thinner, so the cardstock wasn't quite as good, and the card backs were different then too. So I'm glad that I did wait. So I really like this edition. This is published by Cosmogenesis, and it was published at the end of last year. So here is the box. It's in quite a nice box. It's in sort of embellished silver writing for the title. So there's the box, hard cardboard box. It just lifts up. There isn't really a little white book in here, but there is a very interesting description of the deck. It all folds out, so you open it up. And this was written in 2011 for the first edition, and it's called The Secret Life of Control, and it's an essay by Lars Bang Larsen, and it's a very interesting article. It really gives a great background to why this tarot deck has been put together, why it was created, all of the ideas and concepts and the history, the background story of the ideas in the deck. Suzanne Treister created this deck as a study deck and also as a deck for the reader to discuss. And I can understand that, because there are so many ideas and topics within all of these cards and all of these images. So it's not specifically a divination deck. So I think that's fairly obvious. I think anyone who would try to use this as a divination deck, I mean, all you would be mainly doing is just going by the titles on the cards. So I wanted to mention that. But it is a very, very interesting deck. These beautiful diagrammatic drawings were actually on exhibition in London recently as well. So all of this artistic work, all of these artistic diagrams and drawings are based on old style alchemical drawings. So it's that kind of artistic approach. So I'm just going to start by showing some of the major arcana cards. These are cards that I particularly like. I always do my reviews in that way. This deck, when it was created in 2012, was really before its time. In 2012, I don't think the tarot world was really ready for the deck at that time. I think a lot of people didn't understand what it was about and why it was created in this way. And now this is all very topical, because there's all the discussion about artificial intelligence, about the internet, about cyber wars. We've just entered a high technological period the planet Pluto has just gone into the sign of Aquarius, which is all about technology. So we have just started a period where there's a lot of discussion already about hacking and the major cyber and internet companies and how people feel about all of the technology. So, the planet Pluto in Aquarius is all about technology on steroids and also technological control within society and within global society as well. So it's very relevant for the times we're living in now, and it will be over the next 20 years because it's a 20-year period that we've just started. Okay, with all of that introduction out of the way, let's look at some of the images. Here's the back of the cards. The cardstock is quite good. These are rather large cards, and this is why this gives you another indication that it's not going to be easily shuffled. I think it's a type of deck. It really is a study deck. It is the type of deck to just look through the deck and take out different cards and think about different cards, find out more about what the card is about. It's so easy to do any kind of study these days. You can just find whatever information you want in this information technology age, ironically. Okay, so here is The Fool, which is Aldous Huxley, very important author who wrote on science fiction, and it's really interesting because what we thought was science fiction when those books were first written are actually all becoming quite real. So Aldous Huxley as The Fool. The High Priestess is actually about the Macy Conferences. Now, the Macy Conferences were held in America between 1946 to 1953. So that's a 7-year period, post-World War II. And this is really the basis on what this deck is really founded. This is the foundation of this deck. What those conferences were about. They were the beginning of the modern age of thinking, but it's actually become the postmodern world that we're living in now. So this is the High Priestess. So the whole idea of the Macy Conferences is worth looking into as well. The Emperor, my favourite. One of my favourite, not the Emperor itself, but this particular Emperor, Diogenes. Very important ancient Greek philosopher. And way, way ahead of his time. If you read any of these quotes, these ideas of Diogenes here, you will see just how ahead of his time that he actually was. He was almost predicting what modern society and postmodern society has become. So very, very interesting. And he lived between 400 and 500 BC. So that's a really, really long time ago. Lovers. This is Margaret Mead, who was an anthropologist, and Gregory Bateson. Margaret Mead is mentioned quite a bit especially to do with Wicca and witchcraft theory and things like that. So Margaret Mead is particularly worth looking into because she had a witchcraft theory that's very, very interesting and has been argued about and debated over the years. So that's worth looking into. Wheel of Fortune with cybernetics. I really like this deck. Of course, it's got nothing to do with divination, but it's got to do with ideas and thinking, becoming more aware of what is going on in society and globally. I got this deck a few months ago, and I got it at a time when I was getting a bit bored with the type of things that I'm normally thinking about. And this deck has really triggered my thinking in a lot of different ways. So it's sort of caused a bit of a awakening, a livening of thought for me. So cybernetics as the Wheel of Fortune. I like this as well. Strength, networked revolution. Now this could very well be happening, particularly this year. And from this year onwards, there'll be different reasons for this. And this is all very much part of Pluto in Aquarius too. Pluto is always about control issues. And in Aquarius, he put technology, high technology, the internet, and all different forms of high technology with that. You can see where this is going. Networked revolution, internet, networked, yep. Networked revolution. I like this as the devil. The words, the controlled society here. These issues are very much coming to the fore. I think the devil is all about control, of course. The star, this is quantum computing and artificial intelligence. The way people are talking in the tarot world about artificial intelligence, AI, artwork, and it's quite ironic that this is also connected to the tarot industry at the moment as well. Artificial intelligence is going to be much more of an issue. It already is. So the star, quantum computing and artificial intelligence. The moon, transhumanism. Now you might think, what does that have to do with the moon? But the Waite-Smith moon card, a lot of people may not realise that that's actually to do with evolution of life forms, that card. So transhumanism is actually a really good choice for the moon, which is like a further type of evolution, bioevolution. Transhumanism for the moon. This is one of my favourite cards of all. Judgment and the word ethics. Ethics. Great word, an important word. Ethics is just everything. And there's a lot of people who don't seem to know what ethics actually means, and why it's so important. Ethics is all about judgment. And there's different types of ethics for different areas of thought. And yeah, I really like this. I really like this for the judgment card, ethics. Incredibly, crucially important. The world, World War One, World War Two, World Wide Web. It's a really good one to think about. The World Wide Web could very well be instrumental to possible lead-up of another world war. Be true. Sorry if it seems to be getting a little bit political. I am being neutral here, but it is, these are political topics. They just are. Okay, now for Ace of Wands. This is someone called Richard Stallman, who was a software freedom activist. Ace of Wands, which is Richard Stallman. And I should talk about the artwork as well at this point. The artwork is very interesting. And I love the way that the idea of historical alchemical drawings, that format was used. I really like that. Ace of Wands. Three of Wands is politics of the net. You can see that here. Three of Wands and grassroots internet communities. And I think there's going to be more of those. There has to be. I think there needs to be a big change in grassroots everything. Three of Wands. Politics of the net. King of Wands. This is very topical, Nikola Tesla. I'm not going to say too much about this, but a lot of people should look into who Nikola Tesla actually was and what did he represent. King of Wands. Nikola Tesla. Ace of Chalices. I really like this. This is Henry David Thoreau, the transcendentalist, who lived in 1817 to 1862 and who wrote the book all about Walden. Ace of Chalices. All about the importance of nature and what does it really mean? What is the human interaction with nature and what value does it really have for humanity? I mean, it's crucial to humanity, but what does it mean? What does it how relevant is it to humans now, especially now? Ace of Chalices. Five of Chalices. This is really interesting too. H.P. Lovecraft, one of my favourite authors, who actually put a mirror up to society in the way that he wrote. He's known for scary science fiction, horror type stories, but he was really questioning what life is, and particularly biological life, in regard to humans, and what that also means with the possibility of extraterrestrials as well. H.P. Lovecraft. Five of Chalices. I like this one too. Seven of Chalices, Utopia. You have to be very careful with the concept of utopia. It's a very idealistic concept. Ideals can lead into potentially dangerous territory. Utopia. Seven of chalices. And I think that is just such a great choice for the Seven of chalices. And I love the words of heaven and hell written at the top here too. There's plenty of room for thought with these cards. I love this for the Queen of Chalices. Ada Lovelace was a very important mathematician who lived between 1815 and 1852 in the UK. And I should also say, mentioning the UK at this point, that Suzanne Treister, the artist, is actually a British artist. So the Queen of Chalices, Ada Lovelace, the first computer programmer, was a woman. Ada Lovelace, remember that name. Queen of Chalices. First computer programmer. Now, Ace of Swords. Cyber war, infowar, net war. Ace of Swords. This is the drawing that's on the box for the cards. Ace of Swords, cyber war, which is also a very relevant card for the time we're living in, where there's been cyber hackings. They are going to increase during this Pluto in Aquarius era that we've just started. Cyber war. Ace of Swords. Two of Swords. This is great. H.G. Wells, again a great author, an advocate of the one world state, which is really to do with globalism, but you have to think about that. You have to think about, what does this really mean? Because a lot of people could think about that in a negative way, but there were actually positive ideas originally in regard to that. So this was H.G. Wells, who lived between 1866 and 1946. H.G. Wells for the Two of Swords. And I think the Two of Swords is a really good choice for this too, because there are two sides to this, as I was saying. There's two sides. So you need to look at both sides of that concept. Two of Swords. This is another favourite card, the King of Swords, which is Timothy Leary's 8-circuit model of consciousness. And if you ever look into that, it's very thought-provoking. And it says here that the whole idea behind this from Timothy Leary was for terrestrial and extraterrestrial survival, which is all to do with the evolution of humanity. King of Swords. And this is a diagram of the 8-circuit model. And it actually mentions, it's all numbered from 1 to 8, and it mentions what the names of all the different circuits are. He was also way before his time as well, Timothy Leary. King of Swords, that's a great choice. Now for the Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles, which is the nanobio info. And this is an entire program for acting upon nature and humankind. So think about that one. New self-organising systems of life technologies. Ace of Pentacles. All of these cards are very thought-provoking, but I'm really glad that they have republished this for 2024 and onwards, because these issues are very much coming to the fore and they're going to build in importance. It's all about the postmodern world that we're in. Seven of Pentacles is the whole Earth catalogue. This was the conceptual forerunner to the World Wide Web. Beautiful. It's a beautiful card. Seven of Pentacles. So the Pentacles are mainly about Earth-based technologies. And the last card I'm showing today, the Knave of Pentacles. So these are knaves instead of pages. Techno-Gaianism. The Gaia Hypothesis, which was by James Lovelock, who was actually a NASA scientist. He was a NASA scientist in the 60s. Now this one also makes you think, because it says belief in the power of technology to restore Earth's environment. Well, yeah, it depends on what types of technologies these are. Techno-Gaianism for the Knave of Pentacles. And it's a really, it's a lovely card for me to finish on. Knave of Pentacles, Techno-Gaianism. So, there's some of the cards from the Hexen 2 Tarot, 2nd edition, by Suzanne Treister, published by Cosmogenesis. I'm going to put details below this video, probably a few more details than usual, just to help to explain a little bit more to people, information to sort of understand the background of this deck. It was put together as an art project, and as I was saying, the beautiful diagrammatic drawings have been on exhibition in London very recently. They may still be on exhibition too. They might still might be happening, that exhibition. This deck, I think, is very relevant to the times we're living in. It's going to become more so. I think it's a great deck for awareness, for discussion. It's not a divination deck, not really. It's really an art deck, and it's really, it borders on being a deck of philosophical ideas. So if you're looking for a divination deck, it's really not that, of course, but it is an ideas and study deck. So that's some of the cards from the Hexen 2 Tarot by Suzanne Treister, and I'll put some details below the video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.